It is 10:51 p.m. in the evening, Tuesday evening, and I wouldn't be reaching out this late in the evening unless I was going to share an experience with you. But, well, this experience, I was sitting and debating with myself over this when I opened my eyes that this just happened probably about 15 minutes ago. I just, I closed my eyes and, it's been storming out here, so I haven't had the, need to have on storm sounds because in the Southern California area, it's been raining constantly. So I just had my patio open and I was just resting. And I didn't have anything on my mind. I mean, it had been, I guess, a while. It's been a while, guys, since I shared an experience, especially shared an experience that just happened to me in that moment. And unfortunately, it had to be an experience that is, I'm sitting here trying to figure out exactly what it is. And I was like, oh gosh, should I put this on my channel? People are going to be listening to this going, I don't get I don't get what he's talking about. I'm just going to share the experience as it happened to me, and we'll go from there. First, I want to tell you that I think this was an astral projection experience, and I'll tell you why as I get into it. But I don't remember as much about the separation. I remember floating upwards. Now, I had been, first, I should start by saying, I was just kind of laying there and I was just resting. As I talk about these experiences, I always like to go over again the things that I do because I know people are interested in this stuff. They're interested in what I do and, before it happens, if I do any sort of preparation, am I 100% focused on, let's say, well, this time it was astral projection? No, I'm not really focused on it. I just kind of go with the flow nowadays. But of course, it's been over 40 years doing this, so I don't really think too much about it. Most of my experiences have been shifting in the past, years since 2015, since I started doing this channel. Before that, it was a lot more astral projection. But, this was me just laying back. I wasn't thinking about it again. That is a tip I always put out there, that if you focus too hard on this stuff, you're probably, in my opinion, blocking yourself, and you need to just kind of relax and allow things to happen. I wasn't 100% sure that I was going to have an experience, but I do know that when I lay back and I relax, even if I'm just taking a nap, guys, I will either dream or have an experience. I know one of two of those things is probably going to happen. That's just the way it goes. So as soon as this began to occur, and as soon as I began to feel myself floating upwards, and I don't believe that I felt separation, but I mean, I'm not 100% sure. I just remember that at a certain point, I was hovering and there was a sort of a portal through darkness, and I could see the portal, and there was this music. Now, keep in mind, there was no music playing anywhere, right? The only thing I had was kind of storm sounds, and I could hear like water. That was it. There was no music, okay? But I heard this music. It was almost in the style of like the kind of music you might hear in India. Now, I'm not saying I know all the music that happens in India, but it had that sort of style to it. And it was such cool music. It's so funny. When I first began to hear the music as I was going into this portal, it was like, it was, I was enjoying it, and I was like, wow, this is such a beautiful song. But at this point, I would have difficulty describing exactly the the song or the music or the way it was playing. The only thing I can say is that it had sort of, as I say, an Indian feel to it. And it was very up tempo. And so I'm going into this portal, and then suddenly I'm floating over a stadium. Like, it was like a, no, you know what? I don't want to say it was a stadium. It was not a stadium, guys. I'm sorry. This was more of it wasn't an amphitheater. It was a theater, but it was very, very large. A very large theater, and there were people around, and there was a stage. Now, when I went through this portal, the thing that was interesting about this was that I was floating. I was floating above, and there were people in seats, and they were enjoying this show that was happening. And again, there was music. Now, this is the part that is a little confusing to me. The whatever was happening on stage, other than the music, I can't tell you exactly what it is now. It's not that I don't have a memory of what it was. It's just I don't have a way to describe it to you in human terms, in terms of me being able to say it was this. Like, people are dancing and they're spinning and they're jumping and all those things. That I don't have words like that, because that I don't believe that that's what was happening. What I believe, and I think what mom would say at this point, is that whatever it was that was happening was beyond my conscious mind's ability to grasp. Though there was the more expanded part of me that was grasping it, because I tell you what, I was floating and I was clapping, and it was great. I was having such a great time. It was so fun. It was so fun watching this show that my human mind couldn't understand, but there was some expanded part of me that was so totally into it. And I was clapping, right? So if I was clapping, it must have been music, and they were playing music, and I was clapping along, and I looked at my hands. This is what made me think that this was astral projection, because when I saw my hands, they looked whitish and sort of like energy, almost like they were my hands, but they were energetic versions of my hands. They were white, they were energy, but they were, when they were clapping, I could hear the sound of my hands clapping, I guess, because, that's what my mind would be accustomed to in that moment. And man, let me tell you another thing about this theater. The patrons, the people that were sitting there, some looked animated. Of course, that is a theme that has come up before. Those of you who have listened to my channel and listened to my experiences, actually, you will know that I have had this experience of seeing people that appear to be animated. That's my perception of them, right? There were people that looked more solid that were also in the audience. I remember on the right side, those people looked more like they may have been like flesh and blood. Now, none of these people I don't believe were flesh and blood. I don't think that they were. But like I said, some seemed more animated. Some seemed more like flesh and blood. And I was just kind of observing them as I was watching the show and being really entertained. Now, the other thing that I wanted to tell you guys is I was thinking about my mom when I went to this place. My mom was in my head. So I don't know if that influenced me as well, though I don't believe that I connected with my mom when I was in this place. I mean, I may have, I don't know. But I don't recall doing that. I just remember that it was so much fun to be in this place. And, it's interesting because, lately I have been having kind of a tough time dealing with my mom's loss. And I have a feeling she may have played some part in getting me to wherever this place was and me seeing this sort of entertainment, I guess, whatever that means. I wish so much that I could remember what it was, or again, I shouldn't say remember because that's not what it is. I just can't describe to you what I was seeing. And it's so funny because when I was seeing it in the moment, I was just having a great time. And again, maybe it was just the music and the maybe people were dancing, but I don't think it was that. I really don't. My mind just like as soon as I opened my eyes, I'm like, I'm not sure what these people were doing. I will just say that perhaps it was some sort of entertainment venue that's out there for beings that are spirits and they can understand what's going on. For those folks that are way out there, they can understand the, this type of entertainment, and this is what entertains them. So I had a great time. And in the end, once it was over, it was so funny because I saw people, and people were clapping. I saw a arm shoot up into the air, and it was like literally, I think it was like 12 feet long. But it was like a stretch arm, like Mr. Stretch. It stretched up into the air and it went back. I'm like, what in the universe? It was really, really, really bizarre. And I returned shortly after this, opened my eyes, and yeah, there it is, guys. I hope you're not thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, this was just so confusing or whatever. I'm so sorry. I cannot describe specifically what it was. But as you know on this channel, and this is very important to me, that I only tell you about what I can recall in a situation. That's all I can really tell you. This is what I remember. This is what I recall. And then I just kind of let you make the decision about how it is or how it was or whatever. I'd be interested to hear theories if you guys have got theories. We'll see. Anyways, thank you so much for coming on this very interesting, very strange journey with me. Until next time, take care.